Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today I am joined on voice by my man, my teammate from Viva La Sparky, Vulkan, back on the channel. Vulkan, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, Ash. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, dude, and I am so happy to kind of share with folks, if you missed it, if you live under a Clash Royale rock, that Vulkan's YouTube channel is blowing up. You're doing really well for yourself, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. How are things going? How do you like the YouTube life, man? You're one of my favorite channels.
Dude, it's pretty good. I've been making a lot of long videos in the past, but I kind of have some plans for the future where I want to kind of focus my videos into probably 20-minute segments, and I'm just going to have explain how to play like a certain deck versus every single archetype. Maybe not show full replays, but it's going to be really informative, and hopefully anyone who watches it can learn how to play that deck against pretty much every situation.
I love that. Those are the type of videos that I actually really enjoy watching, like just kind of focusing on the different matchups and stuff like that, because that's how you really learn a deck and master a deck, right?
Yeah, for sure. And like a lot of the problems when you first learn a deck is what the best starting play is. So I'm gonna make sure to say all that and just give a game plan for pretty much everything.
Awesome. Well, today we are going to be talking about this deck, which is crazy. And I think the first thing that pops out at me is probably the first thing that pops out at everybody watching this video right now. It's not the graveyard. It's not the tornado. It's the bomber. What's up with bomber, man? What are we in Arena 1?
Yeah. Okay. So it's interesting because I was playing grand challenges, different decks, and I was noticing that I was going to get up against Giant Double Prince, and a lot of people who had Giant Double Prince with goblins and Goblin Gang, and then versus Three Musketeers that had Goblin Gangs and also the guards. So Bomber is really good in combination with Tornado because Bomber has a ton of DPS. If your opponent can't kill that Bomber and you do like a Tornado combo with a Bomber, maybe like a Log and an Ice Spirit, you can pretty much shut down any ground push with 6 Elixir. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, well, hey, I can't wait to see it in action. You can make a believer out of us. And you know what? I have enough gold to upgrade my bomber to max, but I'm not going to do it just yet. I'm going to challenge you right now. And I didn't tell you about this before the video started, but I just thought of this idea. It's crazy and it's fun. What we're going to do is you're in the middle of a grand challenge, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you go into a live match right now. If you win, I will, as punishment, I guess, for me, I'll max out my bomber in good faith that this deck is going to work. If you lose, then I'm not going to max him out, and we'll go right to the replays. So, it sound good?
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure, but
yeah,
I think we could do it.
Huge. All right. So go ahead and hop in whenever you're ready, man.
Okay, I have pressed the battle button.
All right, you're in already. Sweet. All right. Let's see what you got here. So you were saying that you did. This is not the first version of this deck. Can you tell us about other versions that you played?
Yeah, for sure. The first version I had skeletons and Ice Spirit instead of guards and Log, and I just
that must have been
found
so
that
expensive, so cheap, I should say.
Yeah, it was, and it was really fun to play. The only reason I switched is just because I was losing to Log bait. So I kind of just switched in that Log to give me a better matchup versus that.
Okay. So it looks like you're going against P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince maybe or something?
I'm not sure exactly. I would have gone opposite lane there if I had Ice Golem in Cycle, but since I didn't have a Cycle, I didn't.
Okay. I'm curious as to against this deck and against really any deck, when with this deck is your first ideal graveyard push? And look at the bomber OP.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, he shut it down. You're right, the NATO bomber. It worked pretty well there. So yeah, when is typically your first graveyard push with this deck? It's cheap, but does that mean you play it aggressively or no?
Sometimes I do. I don't like to play it unless, say, they put a golem in the back. This deck is so cheap that I can punish with the graveyard if they decide to go in the back, or they P.E.K.K.A. on the back. But other than that, I just wait for double elixir to play my graveyard.
Okay, so
or if I have a big counter push.
Okay, so
because you need to have the poison in hand.
Okay,
and enough elixir to play it without getting a counter push on you.
Okay, So if they have a giant P.E.K.K.A, Golem, or Lava Hound in the back of the King Tower in regular Elixir time, will you go opposite lane against all of those cards with Graveyard Push?
Yeah, I will for sure.
Okay.
And also, I'm at 10 Elixir, double Elixir here, so I'm going in Graveyard Poison.
And that's the magic of
well,
the
wait
deck.
and see what he drops.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the magic of the deck, I assume, right there, where he used his poison against the Bomber, and then that freed you up to do a Graveyard Push.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, I don't really have anything in hand to defend that too well. But I cycled the Tornado, now I do.
Yeah. That's the beauty of the deck, too, right, is that it cycles really quickly. So you will take some damage here, but it could have been much worse.
Yep. I'm just going to go with the Graveyard here, because he'll probably poison it. If he doesn't poison it, then it should get some decent chip damage, not too much. All this poison for damage now. It's double Elixir, so I can afford to kind of not really overcommit, but commit a little bit more.
And he might...
And it keeps him from building up a big push.
Yeah, okay. Now, do you like this? Like, obviously, this is a kind of an off-meta version of Graveyard, certainly with a Bomber in it. But is this like, do you think this is a deck that you would play competitively, or you're not to that point with it yet?
I think a different variation could be viable. I'm not sure this is the best variation. Like, what I always recommend whenever you find a deck is, don't just take their word for granted, say that's the best variation, but you always got to test it out for yourself, see what works for you. And I think it could, with a little bit of work, be viable, yeah. But it loses to certain decks. It destroys P.E.K.K.A usually. Not really playing that this well because I'm trying to talk and play at the same time, but
it's all good, yeah. We'll watch the 12 win and the 11th win from your GC after this. So,
yeah.
So
normally I try to keep track of cycle of his cards.
Okay. I'll kind of grill you on some more difficult matchups right after this match, so people can know, at least have a strategy going in. But it looks like you're gonna take this right tower here, hopefully. And this guy, it feels good because he BM'd you really early.
I didn't even notice, to be honest.
Well, he just dropped a thanks, like when you drop. I'm not sure what that meant, but I thought it was a BM. Anyway, so GG, and now I have to max out my stupid Bomber. So here it goes, 100,000 gold down the drain. Oh, Vulkan. You know what? It's okay because you carried me to $20,000 in King's Cup too, so I won't complain.
All surgical, Right.
Well, I don't know about that, but either way, hey, now I have a max Bomber, so what's up? Boom.
Dude.
All right.
You know what? I'm going to max my Bomber next video, too.
Boom! I like it. We'll make sure you guys check that out if you want to see some more Max Bomber gameplay. So, okay, now tell us a little bit, before we hop into the 12 win and the 11 win here, tell us a little bit about, and we'll do another live match, too, at the end of the video. Tell us about the difficult matchups and how you handle them.
Okay, so difficult matchup number one is for sure... it's the deck that Morton shared on your channel last, I think. It's the Logbait deck. And it's really hard to beat because you can't really go in for Graveyard because they just have such good defense for Graveyard. So anytime you Graveyard, you have to overcommit on Elixir. And then if you verse a good Logbait player, they'll just play Troops of the Bridge, and it makes it really hard for you to get any damage on their tower. So what I do is I just poison their princess and just kind of try to play defense and just draw the match. And since you don't have a big spell, it's very possible to do it that way.
Okay, so you play for a draw or wait till they make a mistake and punish. Otherwise, that's how you handle that matchup.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I noticed the 12 win is against Music Master.
Yes, it is.
So Music Master lost to Bomber, huh? I'm just joking. He's a really good player. Let's go ahead and watch. Actually, I'm going to press play in one moment, but I do want to ask you one final question on the deck. How do you handle going up against like a Lava Loon or an air deck? Because I noticed you only really have Mega Minion and then Poison, Ice Golem, NATO, kind of.
Yeah, so actually the thing that wins it for me is Tornado. What I do is I try to cycle as many Mega Minions as possible. And say they play Lava Hound, I immediately go opposite lane. I'm willing to spend all my Elixir. I go Ice Golem, Graveyard, Poison. And then if they throw a balloon behind the Lava Hound, there's actually a tile where you can use Tornado to pull the balloon to the King Tower, and it won't even hit your Crown Tower once. Pretty much no matter where they place the balloon. unless they place it in like a really awkward position that nobody does. So I do that, and I can usually beat Lava Hound just by activating my King Tower and going opposite lane.
Okay, now you got to tell us the tile. Can you explain it somehow?
I
we can try to
could go in a match
demonstrate it.
against you.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I could demonstrate it for sure.
Let's do the 12 win first against Music Master, then we'll hop into the tile demonstration.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play. So against the Music Master, so 3 Musketeers. How do you feel about this matchup? Are you always going to be poisoning pumps in single elixir time?
I usually try to go in with a Graveyard Poison if they pump. And here he starts off with a really aggressive 3 Musketeers,
Wow.
which I think ended up being a mistake for him.
You think? Yeah, I'd say so.
But
yeah.
a lot of times you get like into grinding Grand Challenge mood, you just get aggressive, and that's probably what I was thinking there.
Yep. All right, so you got to be happy about that start. Now that you know basically what he's playing, how are you proceeding from here?
I'm just waiting for his move because I was thinking he'd pump up there, and I wanted to go aggressive with a Graveyard when he pumps.
Okay.
At this point, I'm just trying to defend. I'm just playing reactively to whatever card he plays, and if he's leaking Elixir, I'm not going to get too aggressive. But there he pumps, so yeah, I just go in for a Graveyard as soon as that pumps out, and I poison, because that's all he can defend with.
Yep. If he had dropped like a minion horde to the right of the tower there, would you have rather poisoned the minion horde or poisoned the pump? Or tried to just do your place in the same exact position and try to get as much as you can?
Well, here's the thing. He also wasted his miner, so I would say if he had not wasted the miner, then I would have to poison the mini horde. It would just depend. Because if I had Ice Golem Tornado like coming up in my cycle, I would poison the pump. But if I didn't, I'd poison the mini horde because I'd have nothing to defend mini horde.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Yep, I think I lost you for a second there, but you're back. Okay, so now you have 3 Musketeers coming down the same lane because of the NATO. Are you always going to be NATOing the Musketeers and saving NATO in this matchup?
No.
Okay.
No, not always.
So you'll use NATO, I imagine, against like a minion horde as well, or whatever, or something like that. So if you have NATO, when he plays 3 Musketeers, you'll use it. If not, you won't. Is that basically the case, or?
Not necessarily. What I like to do is I like to try to set up a Graveyard push towards the tower I'm attacking, and then if he plays 3 Musketeers to defend, I tornado them to the opposite lane.
Okay.
If he doesn't play 3 Musketeers to defend, I probably just poison the tower.
Okay. Oh, and you get a bomber to the tower. No, wow, and he takes it out. That's awesome. Okay. So, wow.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe you handled that push. What even killed the minions? I saw the Ice Golem, but what else?
I think I tornadoed it.
Oh, yeah, you tornado on offense. That's what it was.
Yeah. And that's the trick of this deck. You just got to set up, like, against 3 Musketeers, just set up, like, one big push, and then just use Tornado, depending on what they use, and then you can usually get the game.
Okay, well, GG, man. All right, let's show the tile placement now, and so I will go with I'll just go with a random deck with Balloon in it. I could have maxed out my Balloon instead I maxed out my Bomber. Awesome.
The Balloon has to be behind a Lava Hound for it to work.
Oh, okay. So let me add a Lava Hound. Boom. All right, cool. I'll throw a friendly battle. What's your favorite arena, Vulkan?
I don't even know. Let's go Pekka's.
Who doesn't
Pekka's
have a
Playhouse.
favorite arena? All right, all right. I'm going to fix my deck order so I have it. All right, let's see. We're ready.
Okay.
All right. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to drop it, and hopefully I left enough space there.
Yeah. I just won't play anything until you play that Balloon.
Yep. Little late on the Balloon, but hopefully you can pull it off. All right, so let's see.
Hopefully I don't mess this up.
No pressure. All right, so Balloon actually gets pushed a little bit. Wow. Oh, look at that. All right, so it looked like you played the NATO.
It's like
at the
one
last second.
It's like 2 tiles above the King Tower is what it is.
Okay. So 2 tiles to the square closest to whatever princess tower. Like whatever, like 2 tiles above the king tower closest to the tower that I'm coming in from.
Well, it should be 4 tiles away from the princess tower and 2 tiles above the king tower.
Okay, cool. You know what? Let's I gotta win. I guess we're gonna finish this match. All right. So after we finish this match, I will quickly show the replay so you guys can see it again in case you missed it, and then we'll go on to the 11th match there.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So that tower is done. Let's no big deal to the 3 people spectating. I just 3-crowned Vulkan. All right. So let me show the replay there. And let's just see real quickly here. So here you go, guys. So here comes the balloon. Pause. We'll go half-time speed. And you can see the NATO right about now. Okay, exactly 2 tiles. Okay, perfect. So like a 2x4 away from the princess tower. Okay,
yep.
Cool info there. All right, so let's go into the 10th win here. So against Waka. 3, 2, 1, play. And again, man, just kind of walk us through this matchup. Is it a Goizen?
Yes, it is a Goizen
bait deck. Yeah, okay. Double Prince, right?
Yep. So generally in this matchup, you also want to wait till double elixir to play your graveyard because you have to put a poison with your graveyard in order to get any damage. Or if they waste poison, I might go in with Ice Golem graveyard, but other than that, I just want to wait till double elixir. And if you get a really awkward cycle, you can also cycle log.
Okay. So when you have a giant coming in at you like this, like what's going through your mind right now?
Well, I'm just trying to space out my troops so he can't get a lot of poison value.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm thinking about.
And then you log back that Dark Prince. Perfect.
Yeah, unfortunately, I take a lot of damage because he poisoned my bomber. And I had like Ice Golem out of cycle there. Realistically, I probably should have tornadoed his giant backwards and not even activated my king tower. But a lot of times I'm just like so used to activating my king tower, I just activate anyway. But against this match, I don't actually recommend it.
Okay. So now you know what deck he's playing, I imagine. And wow, you kind of okay. So what made you decide to go in really aggressively like that?
Well, he wasted his poison.
Okay.
So, and I knew it was out of cycle, and I was just at 10 elixir. So I decided I could go in because I just didn't want him to get a lot of poison value like on my troops.
Okay. So you actually strike there pretty well, and your guys are close in elixir. He might have a little bit of an advantage here, but you get a great value NATO there, taking out all the bats, and your bomber's just chilling.
Yeah, that's another thing you'll notice. You can get a lot of tornado value in this matchup. Anytime they drop bats, I try to save tornado until like my opponent drops bats usually, and then as soon as they drop that, I tornado everything back.
Okay. So now here again, just kind of playing reactively. It seems like you're playing it very reactively, and it's funny for such a cheap deck. You're playing it incredibly defensively. It feels like in these replays at least.
Yeah, for sure. You can never go aggressive with graveyard. If you used if you subbed in like Hog for graveyard, you'd have to be a lot more aggressive. But in graveyard, it's all about the defense.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, and aside from that very first push when he kind of caught you out of cycle and kind of off guard with the poison on the bomber, you haven't taken any damage here. So what made you go in for the naked graveyard, just to bait out the poison?
Yeah, it was just to bait out the poison, and if he defended with any small troops, because I was getting no damage on his tower, he was making it really hard for me to set up a big push. And at this point, I'm trying to outcycle his poison.
Yeah.
I wasn't having trouble defending, but I just wasn't getting anything on offense.
I gotcha. Yeah, because that's an issue that I find too on graveyard decks is whenever I play them is when they have poison or they have like a relatively fast deck. I think Waka's deck is a 3.4, I believe. But either way, it's a cheap fast deck. So is that something that you do quite often when you're going against like kind of a difficult faster deck as well with poison? You just send in that naked graveyard if you have to try to get something going.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of times I try to combo it with something, but like in this matchup in particular. I also could have like sent in Mega Minion probably. I did that in a couple other of my games.
Okay.
If they don't have log, you can send in guards with your graveyard. just because I needed my Ice Golem for defense. So because of that, I couldn't afford to use it on offense in conjunction with the graveyard.
Okay. And talk a little bit about like cycling in this deck. Obviously, you always seem to have guards needed when you need them, like in your hand when you need them. What are you mainly paying attention to? Like, are you identifying quickly their win condition and then just, making sure you save those cards, or kind of how do you go about that?
Yeah, for sure. It's not so much identifying their win condition, because I have Tornado and that can pretty much stop any win condition, but it's identifying their support cards.
Okay.
In most matchups, I'm willing to cycle my Bomber and my Mega Minion because Bomber can bait out Poison and then I can go offensive, and Mega Minion just doesn't get any spell value. But if I split my guards, for example, I try not to do it too much because if they go Prince opposite lane or something, then I wouldn't really have anything to defend.
And you come up with a nice victory there using the behind the swing of the Mega Minion there, so it actually worked out really well for you. And you left 666 on your left tower. I don't know about you, Vulkan. I always had questions about you, man.
Don't tell anyone.
All right, man. Well, hey, listen, I said we're going to do another live, but this video is already super long. So maybe any parting words on this deck, like maybe any common mistakes or just kind of the overall theme that people need to keep in mind while they're playing the deck?
Yeah, for sure. Start of the game, you want to think and try to memorize what's in your opponent's hands. Figure out what deck they're playing, and then from that, make sure you save whatever cards you need to defend against their pushes. Usually, you want to wait till double elixir, and then as soon as double elixir hits, you can start going aggressive with your graveyards.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, thank you again. And guys, make sure you go subscribe to Vulkan. The links will be, and his player profile from Stats Royale, the new partner here on CWA, will be in the description below. Vulkan, thanks again for coming on the channel, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Really appreciate it. Huge shout out again to Stats Royale and Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information as well in the description below, along with all Vulkan stuff. So, guys, thank you. And as always, take care, guys.